Welcome to Keep the Hotel Empty. Today we've kept the hotel empty to welcome back our friend Brandon Kruk and his counterpart James from Best Life Productions. Brandon and James, welcome.
Oh yeah,
thank you for having us.
Yeah, man, I'm so stoked to have you guys back. You're KTHE family by all extension, by having been here yourselves and your connection to Fiends and all the other bands that we've had on the show that you guys have photographed. So it's good to have you back and
super cool
tying the room together.
Yeah.
So I know you've been doing a lot over the last year, a lot of traveling, a lot of bands, but really what I want to start with is kind of where we left off. You were just starting to get some of the moving parts of your going out to film concerts and things together. Talk to me a little bit about the stride that your business has gotten into since we last talked.
Yeah, so last time we talked, we were talking about just how I was taking pictures and stuff. And then I wanted to kind of start doing more and more with Best Life. Because I had just finished working with this one company, and I was like, okay, I wanna just start my own thing and just really hone in on that. So that's what we did this year, and brought James into it like late last year, and so he started shooting the set videos. Like, so he'll do video at a show, and I'll do pictures primarily, or sometimes we'll flip flop and just practice. It's cool. So
are you still doing the sporting stuff at all?
No, not at all. That was a separate business, just to kind of like keep us busy and all that. But yeah,
the boss did actually reach out to me a few times recently. Like actually, like earlier this week, he's like, "Are you free this weekend?" I was like,
"We were thinking about it. But
yeah, he still hits me up every now and then, but it's always weekends, and that's when we're working.
Busy, so
that's when most concerts are.
The duality of
you know.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about when you guys first started taking off together. What was some of the stuff that you first started doing? It would have been right after we spoke last year, yeah?
Yes,
yeah. So yes. Yeah. So before I started shooting, like Brandon and I just kind of got into like the music scene in Orlando, and he was taking pictures, and I thought it was really cool. He takes great pictures, and he kind of shared with me his idea with like Best Life and what he wants to do with it, and I thought it was really cool, and I was on board right away.
Nice.
I tried out shooting a full set.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. It was like I was like, "Yo, James, you should come to this concert with me." He's like, "I'm not feeling it today." And then like the scariest hardcore show that you could ever imagine going to. It was December 29th at Will's Pub. Testament of Hate was headlining. It was just straight like craziness, right? And James was like, "Sure, I'll go. I'll film that one."
I had no idea.
He
what I
had
was in
no
for.
clue what he was in for. It was
First
stage
hardcore
diving, just crazy mosh moves, and it was like.
Yeah, I was like,
you got to have your head on a swivel on those ones.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
And then like a couple weeks later, we were shooting for Boy Scout, which is like an indie band. So it's like we shoot pretty much any genre of music.
Right.
We like to keep it that way, just because not everybody solely listens to one genre. Everybody, even if you don't want to admit it, you're gonna be listening to more than one genre. Like there's gonna be people who listen to like reggae but they're in a metal band, there's gonna be people that listen to indie but they're in like a folk band, and you're like, whoa, that's interesting. So
how does it keep it interesting for you guys having different subject matter like that?
Well, just the variety, because you go from something super aggressive where you're like, ooh, try not to die, and then you go over to something super, super like light and mellow, and you're like, wow, this is a very nice little like break almost. Just get to shoot, relax, and enjoy the music. It's a lot of fun.
Well, one thing I want to do that we normally do, but we didn't start that way. We got to press rewind. Talk to me a little bit, James. I know we got to talk to Brandon in the last one, how he got into this, but how did you start getting into filming or taking pictures or any of this, making media in the first place? Was it just a matter of being inspired by Brandon, or you had some idea you were going to do this?
Like, I've always been into like camera work and like making videos and taking pictures, and I was going to school for finance, and I knew like I didn't really enjoy it, and I always dreamt of like just doing camera work, making videos and stuff. And when I shot that hardcore show, like my first show, I was like, holy shit, like this is so cool. This is a
And
lot
that
of
was your
fun.
first experience doing that period?
Yeah. Yeah, and like just like the energy of the room and like the craziness, and it was
a
like
crazy night.
like it gets your adrenaline going. It's and it's a lot of fun in my opinion.
The
And,
drive back home is always like, okay, we just did that, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
That was good.
Huge
and survived
smiles.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and
what was some of the things that you learned right out of the gate? Did you give him any instruction? Hey, you might not want to do X, Y, Z. Hey, watch out for this, or did you just hey, here's your camera pointed at the
Yes.
action and go?
yeah, he was
A
kind of
little bit of both. I wanted to
Yeah.
kind of throw him out there, but at the same time give him enough knowledge so that he wasn't too like in the blue, you know, like just like, oh, what should I be filming? Like, should I do the crowd? Should I do this? I was like, keep it a good, even, like, you know.
like change the angle every now and then, like
Yeah.
film different things. If you see something crazy in the pit, like move the camera towards the pit, get that. And so yeah, I was doing that, and I remember he was telling me like, do not go in the mosh pit. You will get hurt. The camera will get broken.
Yeah.
That's actually happened a few times.
A couple.
Like being on like the outside of the mosh pit. Like there was this one time, it was the first time I got like rocked in the pit.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I kind of like moved towards the pit. I was like filming it, and I wasn't even looking at the camera. I was like looking up at the pit, making sure no one's like gonna come at me and hit me. And then I looked down at the screen for 1 second. And in the little screen, I see this guy doing a front handspring at me, kicks the camera into my face. Like I busted my lip. I was bleeding out my lip, out of my nose, and the lens broke on that camera.
Yeah.
And that was a good lesson I learned that day.
Yeah.
Did you have the footage up to that point though?
Yeah,
you
we
got
have.
to use it up to that point.
Yeah.
Nice.
You got it, and then it just cuts for a split second, and then it's back.
Yeah, you just see the guy, his foot come up at the camera. It was really funny.
That's the wide world of sports right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, what were you thinking? Were you thinking that, oh my God, this is the way this is going to be, or were you like, this must be one off?
Like
When you go to this first show and it's this hardcore show, was that what you had in your mind when you were like, hey, I want to record bands, I want to film bands?
yeah, it was like just like how fun it was. Like I was like, yeah, I want to keep doing this, not just like in hardcore, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it
'cause
was just
he
so
seen me come to
crazy,
some
and-
shows, and then I went to a couple hardcore shows at the spot before it was like the big spot, and I was like, wow, this is a crazy scene. And then I was like, James, you gotta come with me. You gotta see this. And he was like, no, I'll do it another time. Like I'll go next time, you know. And then next time was just pure mayhem, and he pulled up, and
yeah,
lo
I
and
just like
behold.
fell in love. With,
So,
like,
how
doing that
regularly from that point? I mean, you guys, did you start filming, like making media like every weekend at that? Did you jump into it full force, or how did you
Pretty
get the
much
ball
just
rolling?
Yeah.
Full force, yeah. Like we did that, and I think that was 5 or 6 bands. We got all those up, and then next weekend we were shooting another show.
Yeah, we would just
Next
like
day another show. Weekend
we just
after.
like pull up to Will's every weekend. It was
Yeah.
mostly Will's in the beginning.
Yeah, at first it
Will's
was a lot of Will's
It
Pub,
was like
Stardust, and I would say the Spot too, but we started going to the
little
Spot
bit.
more later. like,
Yeah,
to get more and more of like the heavier scene, which is cool.
And for the people who are like just starting to come up doing this or want to do this, was it primarily certain clubs because you had relationships with those clubs, you knew you could go there or film anybody, or it was just that the bands that they drew, you knew you could go there? What made you have those first jump off points?
Honestly, we've been to Will's Pub a couple times and we really liked it there. It's just like a great spot for shows.
and a lot of great bands come out to Will's.
That's like where, if you're like a big touring band, you're going to Will's compared to like any of the smaller venues. Like if you can't get the Beachum or like a bigger venue in Orlando.
I'd say Will's Pub is like the biggest, like
It's like
smaller
the biggest
venue.
underground, if you
Yeah.
want to call it
Yeah,
that.
if you will.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So when you were first starting out, did you approach them and say, hey, we want to come every weekend, or did you just show up and say,
No,
hey,
we
to the
would-
bands,
yeah.
yo, we're here?
We would just either talk to the bands like the day of, be like, hey, y'all want full set video and pics? Or I would DM the bands and then be like, hey, could we get guest list, media pass, something? And then after a couple bands and then after a couple weeks, people started kind of like recognizing us, knowing us a little better. And then they were like, oh yeah, you could come film our show this day, or come over here and we'll get you in, whatever. So it was definitely I don't want to say come up, but like a gradual incline of like, oh, this is what it is. Like, these are the guys that we want to shoot our stuff. And I'm very glad people want us to shoot their stuff, you know?
Yeah, and that brings up a good question. We are in a time now where when you go to a show, everyone is taking pictures.
That's true. Even with phones, like there's people taking pictures on phones, people with cameras, people with digital cameras, people with small cameras, like any sort of camera you'll see. And yeah, somehow we just have to persevere and
well, it is a crowded pond, you know, because everybody can do it. But there are still people, and maybe this dates me a little bit, but like Ross Halford and like some of the classic concert photographers who have their own style and will be forever synonymous with the pictures they took of certain artists.
Yeah.
Are there things you guys think of, or are there ways that you try to strategize ahead of time, things you can do to help your products stand apart? Pictures that make it so it looks like Best Life did it, even if they can't recognize that it was the two of you?
Yeah. So we shoot with super wide angles, so that kind of sets us apart from everybody else.
That's kind of like our staples, like the fisheye lens captures like everything.
It'd be like you could see probably from here to where even the cameras are. So it's like almost a 180 like plane of view, and so you could shoot the whole band. You could get the band and the crowd. You could get whatever you want, really. And I've seen a lot of people use the fisheyes, but it's not the same, if that makes sense, because we like to have a lot of light and a lot of color and all that kind of stuff in our photos. That way it just like jumps and pops and whatever. So I think that sets us apart, but I don't know. What
Definitely.
With the set videos too, we shoot wide angles, so.
Did you have inspiration for that stuff, or was it just a trial and error thing?
Well, I've been shooting shows for a while, and I'm always kind of towards the front. And when I have like a longer range camera, I'm like, man, it would be so cool to like if I could just take a pic from right here, you know?
Right.
And so I just thought, wider, you know, I could shoot from right here, and I could still get the picture like even better, even. And
you could be like right here and get like the full body in the picture.
Yeah.
So it was just a matter of that was a way to make the disposition of your location, make
Pretty
your photographs
much.
convenient.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, yo, we saw a skate video or a Busta Rhymes video and we were like, dude, let's do that.
I would say the skate videos did help with that, because I shot Tampa Pro a couple years back and I only had a wide angle attachment, so it was like a screw-on thing. And I was like, man, if only I had like just a little more range, that way I could get closer to the like guy airing over the coping or whatever.
Right.
So it's just, you know, a little bit of everything here and there. Just seeing something here, seeing something there, and then kind of putting it all together.
That thus is the trick. So I know last time we had spoke, you said something that struck me, and when I've talked about our interview to other people, this is the one I always bring up. You said that you don't Photoshop your stuff, you don't correct your stuff. Are you still on that tip?
Pretty much, yeah. Like the most I'll do now is, like, for example, we were in Atlanta
like last week.
Shooting Zulu.
Oh, I saw that.
That was
very cool.
Awesome, yeah. But I took a picture and we were in the pit, and all I could see is just the cement on the ground from the pit. And I'm like, oh man, the crowd looks cool, Zulu looks great, but I don't like how bright this pit is because there's nobody here, like in the photo pit. And so what I did, I just took a mask and I like drew on it and then just brought the exposure down. So it's like, that's the most
It wasn't really like doctoring the content of the photo so much as it was the extraneous crap.
Yeah, I still just mainly do exposure, aperture, or exposure, highlights, and shadows sometimes, and that's really my cookbook secret recipe. You know?
Yeah, and I know in still photography you can get away with that a little bit more because you can have, I guess, more of an artistic license, so to speak. Do you take a similar approach with video, or since video is so ubiquitous now, you got to dress it up a little bit?
Yeah, we do it a little differently. I mean,
it's pretty much
the same. Yeah. What is it? To like brighten it.
Just the exposure, yeah.
Yeah, just the exposure, and what else?
So what's the ethos behind not trying to make it look like a magazine shot or a cinema?
Well, I would say it just gives it that look, like it gives it like a real feel, like you were there, kind of, you know? Like, I'd rather watch a video of like someone who was at the show front row than if it was like fully produced. Like, I mean, sure, fully produced stuff is awesome and it looks great.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like you don't feel like you can see when James gets hit in the pit. Like, you can see the camera move when he gets like pushed around, or
yeah, like I feel like it gives like the viewers like more of a sense of like actually being there rather than like watching a video about it.
Yeah,
it's like what you would see, you know. It's like not overly edited, like the colors aren't like edited to be like,
yeah, because we've all seen the pictures where it's like it's a show and the guy's blue and the background is like red and you're like, oh, that's a cool pic, but
yeah,
like that's not what you would
that's
see.
not what it looked like.
It's just a cool picture.
So do you look at it as the difference between creating like media for a product, like as a product, as an advertisement, in your case bands can use these photos to promote, and more looking at it as your own project you're creating? Because I mean, at some point you have to kind of walk the line. I'm guessing, or maybe explain to me this: when you're going to get gigs for bands or things where there's a creative element involved, how do you walk the line between knowing you're capturing something that will be useful for the people you're capturing it for, and something that you find interesting and expressive and artistically fulfilling for you?
Right. So fulfilling for me is it's good. I like to get the full set videos and everything, just because it's in a way it's just documenting like history, and it like no two sets are the same, no two crowds are the same. So it's like, even if we're doing a tour with the same set list in each city, all those shows are gonna be different. Whether the crowd is rowdy at one and mellow at another, or if the vocalist like messes up or something at one show and then he's like, oh, the next show is beautiful. So it's like they can just pick and choose what they want from our content and like use it wherever they want, whenever. So like pictures I've seen on Instagram, I've seen on Spotify, I've seen on YouTube even, and then like videos I've seen it just scattered. So it's
so you kind of more take the line of thinking that if we capture the entire set, there'll be something in there they can use and it will still be fulfilling for us.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
Then even like, let's say we get a really good set video, like Flesh Water per se. We'll take the full set video and then we'll condense it down into like a 30-second, 1 minute edit of just like highlights or like a little like mosh pit reel, something.
Yeah.
Something that puts people there.
Yeah. Something that just kind of showcases the talent behind the band or whoever's performing.
So in this world where there are a zillion bands playing a zillion shows and a zillion photographers taking pictures and taking video, what do you think are some of the things that your video and your photography really do to help these bands? When you're taking these pictures and you're doing this stuff, what are you thinking this is really how you're going to add to the party?
Well, a lot of times I feel like people don't get like a full set video, like especially these smaller like local bands. Like you'll see them play and then they'll be like, oh man, did anyone get videos?
Right.
And then you just see like 10, 15 seconds on somebody's Instagram story and you're like, huh? oh, we sound okay. But then once you can go through and it's like watching a football game. Like if you're in high school playing football and coach is filming at the top of the stands and you watch that back, you can go in and you can be like, oh, this is what we did wrong, this is what we need to fix, this is the game plan now. And I've had people text me, like the other day Jimmy texted me like, hey man, can we watch this over like it's a football game? Like, where's the video? Because we were traveling, unfortunately. So
sometimes it isn't really a matter of where these go publicly as it is documentation for the people involved.
That's true. Yeah, a lot of people are really, really just grateful that they get to see themselves doing what they do from not their own perspective. Because it's like I'm sure I'm not like a musician by any means, but if I was up on stage playing the guitar the whole time, I'd want to see what I sounded like and even looked like. Like, I don't know.
Definitely. And also, like, people in the crowd, they like to see themselves on video.
That's true.
Like going crazy stage diving and stuff and moshing and all that.
Yeah, well, that's become quite a thing recently, yeah? So talk to me a little bit about, well, let's sidetrack a little bit. Talk to me a little bit about some of the differences in some of these scenes that you've seen, change in the last year that have made it more participatory and people really getting into it and people wanting to see themselves be a part of it, because I think that's really what it is. It's like, look, there's me being a part of it.
Yeah. So it's like the scene is like it's a culture or whatever you want to call it, and more people are hearing about it and they're seeing themselves in these pictures and videos and whatnot, and then I guess they could show their friends and then their friends are like, what? Where am I?
Yeah.
I want to be there.
And so then we're at this show. James is filming. The mosh pit is about to get going. Give us content. Come on. You know?
Yeah.
And then everybody goes crazy. I don't know. So.
Have you seen some of that become more so in the last year? Because
for sure, yeah.
I was going to say, because you weren't taking pictures this regularly when we last spoke, yeah? We're just starting to.
Yeah, we were doing it regularly, but just not of shows. So it was.
That's right.
Yeah, it was just like now that we really honed in on all these shows, we can kind of like pick and see like, okay, we know this is gonna be good. We know this is gonna be good. This one is okay, but this one is the one we want to go to tonight. You know, like it's interesting.
Talk to me about some of the things you've learned and been able to use from when you were doing the sporting events and things like that to now when you're just capturing musicians primarily. What are some of the things that you found to be similar, and what are some of the things that are big difference?
That's a good one.
A big difference is we never shot with like fisheye at the soccer tournaments.
Yeah, we were always shooting like regular lenses.
Yeah, and shooting with fisheye is like a lot different from like a normal lens.
Yeah.
So one of the big differences, you can impart some of your own creativity now.
Yeah. And like the editing process is different.
For sure. A
And,
lot
like-
less copy paste and a lot more just feeling it out, you know?
Yeah. And also shooting in like the daytime outside is a lot different from shooting inside a dark venue. Just with, like some like neon, or, like just colorful lights in the background and stuff.
Did any of that experience with the athletic stuff have you primed to capture the moment? Do you think that you were a little bit more practiced at that? Or that was just a constant camera rolling thing?
Sometimes I feel like when I would shoot, like if I had to do like some solo photos of a player, I'd watch, and then you can kind of see when they're going to like run and get the ball or whatever, so you can kind of ready up.
Yeah.
But it's so much different at a show because it's like you'd have to know the music, you have to know this, you have to know that,
Right.
And you kind of have to get mannerisms from the people you watch, like their first song, and then you're like, okay, if he starts moving like this, he's gonna do this. Like maybe do a kick or something, and so it's really just about watching everything. You just, I just observe. And
I remember like during the soccer tournaments, sometimes we'd have like a video team. I never like did video. I only did pictures at the time, but sometimes we'd have people come out and do videos, and like watching them like capture like highlights and like cool moments and like goals and stuff. Like that was like a really like big part of it. And I like think it's the same with like concert videography, like capturing like all the cool stuff, like all the
moments.
all the moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like very similar.
Do you ever sometimes get those feelings like you're not actually at the show until someone crashes into you? Like you're just looking through your camera, you're just like this fly on the wall, and then all of a sudden it becomes real? Or are you like always conscious of the fact?
Sometimes I get like lost in like the camera. I'm just like hyper focused on like working the camera, and like for example like the mosh will like push a bunch of people and they'll like domino effect and like hit me, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm still here. I'm not like I'm not invincible here. I gotta.
That's true.
Like be aware of my surroundings more.
Sometimes I just get too wrapped in the music and I'll just be like, yeah. And then I'll be like, oh, I gotta take pictures. What am I doing?
Sometimes he'll just like jump into the mosh with his camera, like have his camera up in the air, just like pushing people and like having fun.
Gotta have fun.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And that comes out in the pictures too.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start once you start doing some little more shows more regularly. You did start to go on tour with bands, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the first one of those? Was that with Fiends?
First
tour I think was with Fiends. We've first full tour, I would say together was with Fiends.
Yeah.
First tour for me was also with Fiends, like last year or the year before, and but we've jumped onto like the Florida leg of a couple tours. So like when Slater came through, we shot him in Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa, and Orlando. So we just got all his Florida shows, and then he went back across the U.S. somewhere. But
so what was tour like the first time you went out? The first time you went out together?
It was like, so we had already traveled the country together with that job last year.
Oh, right.
Or the year before. So we were like, oh man, new like purpose, same kind of feeling. You know?
Just on the road, driving on those same like interstate roads, but for a different purpose.
That had to be kind of trippy, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And
it definitely reminded me of like the sporting stuff, driving the country.
Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say, but it's okay.
So what was that like? I mean, were you thinking at that point, okay, this is it, we're definitely going the right direction now?
Yeah, I was feeling that, because it's just like, oh man, I feel so cool. I'm going to this show, you know, and they're letting me in. I'm gonna take pictures. I'm in a different state, you know. This isn't my area. I'm brand new out here.
Yeah, we drove out to like North Carolina.
Yeah, we've been to so far to shoot shows. We've been to North Carolina, Tennessee.
Yeah, we counted them last time. It was 16
Alabama,
states, I think.
Florida, and then Arizona.
Right.
Arizona's random, but
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we drove through 16 states. That was it.
So how do you get these gigs? And the reason why I ask is because there's a lot of people, or I shouldn't say a lot, but there's definitely a fair amount of people out there that want to take their photography and videography and media content capturing to the next level like you guys have. So how was some of the ways that you did that initially?
Oh man,
just straight cold calling? That's my question.
Essentially, I would just
scroll
through
reaching out on Instagram, yeah.
Scroll through Instagram. Oh, this show looks good. DM the artist. DM another artist. DM all the artists. You got to DM the openers. You got to DM management. You got to DM like everybody. And maybe one day, one of them will reach back to you, and you got it. And
they often do.
Often they do, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
And it's a win or lose, but mostly wins, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say
when
so.
you do that, do you send like just links along, or do you send sample photography? Do you send like or you just straight say, hey, I'm interested in taking pictures? Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm like, hey, is it cool if we come through pictures in a full set video? ? And then that's it. And then they'll
full
get
set
back.
video is enticing.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what sells us to some people particularly, but I don't know. it's just kind of something.
Do you find that, I guess, how's the nice way to put this? Do you find that other people that try to do what you do are either, for want of a better way of putting it, trying too hard or putting their eggs in the wrong basket, and you guys are much benefiting by just putting out these cold calls and just taking your pictures raw and just doing your thing instead of trying so hard to clout chase, or doesn't that factor in much?
I don't think it factors in much because, like, a lot of these people that are doing what we do, they're all also very talented.
Right.
And so it's really hard, especially, like, once you, like, level out the playing field, it's always going to be, like, 5-10 top dogs in, like, whatever city you're in.
Right.
And you just kind of have to, like, maneuver your way around, if that makes sense, and, like, just kind of see what people might want, or who, like, style is, like, I don't know. It's kind of hard. I kind of lost my train of thought. But.
Well, style is one thing. I mean, you guys have obviously got a niche doing hardcore stuff and things where there's a little bit more frenetic, kinetic energy going on.
Yeah.
But do you ever, like, purposefully seek out, like, things that seem like they'd be out of your wheelhouse, or is it just a matter of your wheelhouse got plenty of stuff in it, we stick there for now?
I say we try to like diversify and get out there. Like, we'll shoot like shows like bands, like their genres aren't like, we don't normally or often shoot some genres, but we'll still
like
go out and do it.
We went to Florida Groves Festival, and we were shooting like reggae and like Milky Chance and all these like artists that normally people would be like sure, there would be some people that want to go and want to shoot, but I feel like a lot of people, at least in our scene, would be like, Milky Chance, aren't they that one TikTok song person or whatever?
Yeah,
and I'm like, sure, they might be, but hey, get them a full set video. Like, they're from Germany. When are they gonna see Florida again? You know,
Good point.
Next festival, next whenever. You know, and hey, maybe they really enjoyed this festival over a different show that they did here. So, hey, better to you know, let them relive that through a video than nothing at all. You know.
Right. Have you ever had any of, and I hate to bring this one up, but it just came to me. Have you ever had any like disaster moments where you shot a good show and you did everything all great and the card was not in the camera?
Close. When we shot Narrowhead in Athens, Georgia.
Oh yeah.
I took James's phone because it was before we had like any sort of audio stuff. So
you just recorded on my phone.
We were recording the
Put it in the
voice
back of the
memos.
venue.
And put it in the back of the venue, but I never pressed record. So we only have the like mic at the front, and it's just like
just straight ear rape.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's not too bad of a disaster.
Not the worst, but
definitely not the worst. But we
still
were
kicked
upset
myself over it.
Yeah,
Like,
it was upsetting.
Yeah.
Grabbing the phone like we didn't record it.
Way. Yeah.
Dang.
Well,
and it's like one of our favorite bands too, so it was like
Oh, damn,
a big
of
deal
course.
for us shooting them. And we're like,
Well, we got it in Birmingham, so that's like, I want to say that's like one of our best videos.
I think so too.
Yeah, that and then Fleshwater. Those are like our two, like, at least my favorites.
And those are both on YouTube?
Yeah.
We'll make
Both
sure
are
we got
on
links
YouTube.
in
I think the second Arrowhead set that we didn't get audio for would have been like
It would
the
have
better
been
one.
but
Of course. That's the fish story, dude. The one that got away, bro. It was
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, but it's whatever. We still shot him. That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
So being a two-man crew can present its challenges. Not that me and Seth know anything about that. So what are some of the things that you guys do to help balance out each other and make sure that you don't have things like somebody forgot to press record? Because inevitably you got to watch yourselves and watch each other. That's a lot in and of itself. What are some of the things that you guys do to work better as a team?
So as a team, like, we'll try and we'll start at the same side of the stage, and we'll kind of like look at each other's cameras, make sure everything's set up and ready to go. And then we'll kind of separate and then kind of flip-flop. That way we're covering whatever it is. That way James has one POV, and it's a video, and then I have the same thing but from the other side, and it's a picture. So that way it's like, if he gets something cool, then I'll get it from another angle, and it won't be like the same angle, and it's like whatever, you know.
Yeah, and also like helps us like stay out of each other's way.
Yeah, that's true.
Like sometimes we'll try to like get around each other, like
especially because there can be a lot of media people at these shows. Like,
right.
There could be like 5, 6, 7, 8 photographers at the front row, and you're like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You gotta. So how much of this did you develop innately just by doing the shit together, and how much did you sit down and strategize? I go here, you go there, and then we do this 3, 2, 1 break.
Yeah, it all kind of
it just came to us. We just kind of
just as
we never really discussed like a strategy per se for like our
it's
placements.
Just playing by ear, and as we progressed, we were like, oh, this works. This
makes the most sense.
This is the most like logical thing, and so sometimes we'll have to use sign language, like
like bass coaches,
or like or signs random. We'll be like, yo, get that over there.
Yeah, I'm like.
Pit. Yeah, it's a big thing. Like I'll be facing the stage, and then Brandon's like, "Bro, the pit." I'm like, "Oh,
this way."
Yeah. Try to keep my head on a swivel though. I check the pit every now and then. But
I keep my eyes on him because I feel like for him, he just has to stay locked in the whole time. Versus pictures, it's kind of like I can take a couple here, a couple there.
Right.
And then I can just keep my eyes on everything the whole time. So if I see something like that is like a little scary or whatever, like someone's getting a little too close to him, or like something is just not feeling the way I want it to, I'll be like, yo, bro, like push him or something.
Yeah. Sometimes he just pushes me like,
you got the secret codes: 1 earlobe tap, 1 nose tap.
Yeah.
We should make
like signs like.
Yeah,
like
straight up.
Like something for the pit, something for like stage left, stage
secret
right.
language. Next episode, we're gonna reveal it.
Hell yeah, awesome. So that actually made me think something. If you're filming from one side and you're able to capture a still from a different angle on the other side, do you incorporate the stills ever into the video, or are they always 2 separate things?
Always 2 separate things, but sometimes we'll use the pictures for the thumbnail of the video.
Yeah.
So your video content is always straight up you and the camera.
Yep.
And do you always, or I should say at this point, are you always doing one handheld source and that's it? So it's got that like POV type of feel?
Yeah. For the set videos, yeah. Sometimes we have our friend Grayson, who's like part of our team. He has a high 8, like a old like tape camera.
Cool.
And he'll be there.
He'll be filming the same set. Like we'll both be on like opposite sides, and he gets it on like the vintage like old school looking camera, and then
those are so cool.
And, like we'll upload both sets. It's like completely different feel.
That's true. Sometimes, like I never have done it yet, but I'm planning on eventually like putting them 2 into 1 and kind of editing them together. That way, it would look like.
I definitely want to start doing that. That'd be really
I feel like
cool.
It would be very cool to just edit maybe another POV into it. You know.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. What do you want to try to hone what you're doing now, or do you want to try to expand on it?
Definitely expand on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like if we expanded, it could get too big. Not like big as in like, oh dude, we're shooting Metallica.
Yeah.
I mean as in like we have 50 local small little shows that we're shooting every week.
Right.
You know, and it's just that's what I mean as too big, and then there's a lot of editing and all that stuff that goes into it. So I don't know. But
yeah, talk to me a little bit about that, because anybody that creates content knows, or anybody that's in the sphere of it at all knows, that the editing portion of the show can be like tenfold the work of the first part.
Oh,
but since you guys kind of have a less is more ethos, how does your editing process, do you feel, compare to like editing hell everyone thinks about? Do you end up in editing hell even though you're doing less is more?
Yeah, sometimes. Like sometimes we'll get really busy, like in a weekend, and we'll have like 4 sets at one show, and then the next day it's another 4 sets, and then the next day it's another 4 sets. So by Monday, you have 12 set videos just looming, looking at you, and you're like, oh.
You gotta go through that all.
Yeah.
And then
And
the
shows
pictures
coming
on
up
top
next
of
weekend.
that.
Yeah, and then the pictures on top of that.
And you'll get like 1,000, 2,000 pictures in a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to go through all that too. And yeah, it adds up.
So what are some of the things you've done to streamline that process a little bit? I mean, a couple thousand photos is nothing to sneeze at, even if you just want to look through them.
Yeah.
12 hours of footage, if you're going to edit that down.
The footage is a lot easier because it's just one shot during the whole set.
And you always produce the whole set?
Yep.
Okay.
Every time. So
Yes, we just kind of throw that in the editing software, like
do our thing, and then
add the our logo,
logos,
the
their
band's
logos,
logo,
and
the outro.
boom.
So
pretty simple.
really keeping it simple is part of the...
Keep it simple, stupid.
That's part of the magic in
Yeah.
the sauce.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you don't want to stray away from that. You don't see yourself having like 8K cameras and, you know, a crew
eventually.
of 10 people.
Eventually, yeah, I think so. Especially because I feel like we're not always going to be, you know, I'm not going to say we're not going to always be doing full set videos, because I think that is like, I think it's really great. I like the full set videos.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I want to say
me
we're
too.
going to stray away from some of the like smaller shows and try and go into like festivals or something. And then that's when we're going to need all our manpower. Like,
Yeah.
we have me, James, and then Grayson and Rylan. So shout out Grayson and Rylan, because those are the homies.
Heck yeah.
Rylan's one of our new roommates, so he lives with us, and we're roommates. So it's like we just got the BLP house kind of going
Yeah.
on. And yeah.
Do you got the, for those that don't know, you got a name tag that says Best Life Productions that Brandon Thrift did that right?
So
Yeah.
Brandon
Yeah.
Thrift drew it. That same style, actually.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
font.
Yeah.
And you got that rug is real?
Yeah, the rug
Yeah.
is real. I didn't bring it, unfortunately. I left it in Orlando.
We meant to bring it.
You
but-
got it at your apartment though or whatever? Anybody walks in, knows where they're at?
Yeah, we're not. I don't know if we're gonna put it on the floor, but
It's too
we
nice
might
to
put
like
it
for
on the
people to
wall.
step on it. Like we
Yeah,
gotta hang
shout
that
out
up.
Roomy.rugs on
Yeah.
Instagram, or Roomy Rugs. It's our friend Ethelyn from Orlando, and she's pretty great.
I was gonna say the thing looks really cool. It looks
is
super
really
cool. I
Great
got a
quality
good,
too.
I got a good kick out of that when I saw it. I was like, there you go.
Yeah.
Keeping it up. So how much do you want to, I mean, I know you mentioned like you want to be doing festivals and bigger shows and things like that. Is your goal to, or I should say, would you rather be doing things like that where you can just kind of dip in for a weekend, do your thing, and then go back? Or do you still want to go out and do tours and stuff like that? Or was that just like
For sure. I think we want to do everything. Like,
Yeah, definitely go out and do more tours.
I want to do like a full U.S. tour at some point.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I want to
know
do a
with
world
who.
tour. It's
World tour would be crazy.
Hell yeah.
And
one day.
I think maybe we'll set a goal for 2025 of having like a Europe tour or something
Hell
that
yeah.
we can jump on. I hope, but we'll see. We'll see how it all rolls out. But
Yeah.
Well, you said Europe. I definitely want to ask you about your travels. But before we get there, I want to ask about somewhat maybe of a touchy subject and the thing I don't normally ask people about. You mentioned going on tours and you'd like to go out the cross country and all that. And everybody that knows anything about touring, especially now, knows that it's really expensive.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
And the equipment that you guys have to use, even when you're using a small amount of equipment, still ain't no small dollar sign. We all know that. You still got to keep yourselves alive. You still got to be healthy. You still got to do all this.
Yeah.
everything.
Okay, so how do you make the wheel go around monetarily? Where's the point where you can? I guess the more operative question I would like to ask is for people that are in your position that want to try to level up like you guys are. When you think about going to do a tour with a band, are you thinking about trying to ask for set amounts up front and you just got to live off that and produce the media off it? Or do you try to make your nut in this world based on the amount of content you provide?
Honestly, I think a set amount. If you don't know like what you're walking into, a set amount is pretty good. Just as long as it's not like absurd, like, yeah, $2,000, I'll shoot your show, whatever, you know.
Right.
Like that's a little ridiculous. But like if you go to a show, right, and let's just say you're a brand new photographer and you want to make some money. Like, you could even go to a small little local show, pay $10 to get in, and be like, hey, I'm gonna be taking pictures tonight. Would you want me to take pictures? I'll do it for $15. I'll do it for $10. I'll do it for a T-shirt. You know, like we've traded for merchandise. We've traded for literally anything, like merch, stickers,
like
CDs,
yeah.
Home
like
cooked taco.
$50 somewhere. Like, I don't even know, but yeah, it's like you can ask all these like openers, and they're all super nice, and they all want this stuff,
Right.
Because it's like, how many times is an opener or like a smaller band gonna have like the opportunity to have like a professional photographer come in and take their picture and whatnot, and unless I know somebody, you know, which everybody knows somebody when it comes to photography,
Right.
it's just like you can do it. You can do it.
So it's just a matter of
Getting out there, really.
Yeah.
Just putting yourself out there, showing people like what you do, showing people that you're good, showing people that you care, you know.
That was going to be the thing. I guess one of the things you got to show them you actually want to do it. You're passionate about doing it. What are some of the things that help that come across, as opposed to the people that are just like, hey, I got a camera and I want to be cool too?
I will say, even when it comes to starting, sometimes doing stuff for free, that just shows that you're like you're not really in it for like the money per se, but you're in it for your passion or because you like it. Like when I first started shooting shows, I wasn't charging anybody. I was just like doing it for the portfolio or for the Instagram or just so that I could get my stuff looking good. That way I could have something that looks good by the time I want to, you know, sell it or whatever. And then
now that we have that portfolio built up, people ask us like, how much?
Yeah.
So then that's a good question for people who are up and coming in this. How long reasonably do you think one should take building up a portfolio? Some people kind of think that, you know, that sort of thing should happen quickly and they get discouraged.
Right.
And some people hang in and let their dream wither away on the vine. How did it kind of work for you guys?
I don't think it's like a matter of time. It's just a matter of like getting a bunch of different things, like shooting different genres and like once you like
having a variety is really
once
great.
you like kind of get that variety, like we started with hardcore and then we shot like shoegaze bands and like rock bands and like indie bands, reggae,
like when I started, I was shooting. I was just walking around my neighborhood taking pictures of bunnies, lizards, birds, whatever I saw. I was like, okay, picture, cool, and I just put it on my Instagram and then not think much of it. And then I moved into like my friends or whoever I was with. I would just take a picture, or like be like, hey, let's do a photo shoot, whatever. And the pictures weren't all that great. They were just like, like, oh, here I am walking in the woods, whatever.
Right.
And then it just kind of expanded to sports, to smaller shows. And then as I kind of built it up with taking pictures wherever I was going, whatever I was doing, then that's when people really started seeing this, and they were like, oh, okay, this guy's kind of like got an eye or whatever. And from there, I just kind of just built and built and built on it. And I would post 3 pictures of each shoot I did on my Instagram, but I recently changed that, so it was just like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But I used to do like stack, 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 stack. That way you could just kind of get a vision of like everything, like the variety from cars to people to deer.
So it was really just a matter of, man, I'm taking a picture of everything till someone sees it.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that can take a long time to like get all that different stuff in your portfolio.
That's true.
Yeah.
So of those things, now that you've primarily focused on bands, do you still want to be shooting all this different subject matter, and the bands are just like what you're enjoying most right now, or is that something you're going to focus on? You're going to keep building in that area primarily?
I think we're gonna keep building in this area because it's
Definitely.
it's always moving. There's always new bands coming in, bands going. You know, there's always gonna be like a market for it because music, I doubt it'll ever die out. You know, and sure, I love shooting nature. I love shooting people, but it's just not the same like satisfaction. At least for me,
Yeah.
it's like, sure, I got these really cool pictures of somebody, but when I see it on like Spotify, I'm like, wow, I made it.
I did
You know?
something.
Yeah.
I love shooting all sorts of different stuff, but like personally, I mean, both of us, we just enjoy music a lot. Like music's one of my favorite things in the world. Like I listen to music every day. Like it's just something I really enjoy, and I just love shooting it.
So it's like a doubling down of the passions. It's like where passions meet.
Music and photography.
And it's like I can't make good music. At least I haven't tried because
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you can.
maybe I could. Maybe I'm a wizard on the guitar and I just never even picked it up.
Secret guitar wizard.
You've made a few bangers
Oh yeah.
on some free YouTube beats.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, I'm not really musically inclined. So when I can see like the music and it's just like, oh wow, like these guys are really doing it like this. And then like hearing it on Spotify and then hearing it in person and it's like the same and you're like, whoa, I was listening to this song like last year. That's crazy. And now they're in front of me.
Right. Those are those moments where you can like feel that clicking.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me curious, and I wanted to ask before, what was the first event you guys did together where you really felt like you were clicking, where it stopped being just you floating around, like when we talked last time, sticking up your camera and getting them wild, in the moment shots, to now you guys are functioning as a team and it's just clicking and we're doing the damn thing? When you had one of those first car ride home where you're all adrenalined up.
I remember this one time, I think we were shooting Battle of the Bands at UCF.
Oh,
we were
yeah.
at UCF, and it was like after that show when I was like I love doing this so much. I want to keep doing this. I said something to you like that, like
Yeah.
I was having a hard time figuring out like what I want to do.
It was
with my
like
life.
10
and I was like,
bands, 10-minute sets.
and like
then
we had been doing it for a minute.
for like maybe a month or two.
Yeah. And it was at that point I was like, yeah, I want to keep doing this. I want to like build this up and just put everything into it.
Yeah. And honestly, big shout out to all of our friends, because without our friends, we wouldn't be doing this stuff. Because we met at a skate park like two years ago.
August 2022.
Yeah, just completely randomly. Like I went to the skate park with one of my friends, and he was just there drawing in his sketchbook.
And I went with one of my friends.
He was with one of his friends.
My friend actually started talking to you guys, and then I came over. And
then after that, me and James clicked, and then
we lived 5 minutes from each other. We started hanging out like every day.
And now we live together, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
It is.
and we have a business together.
This was a question that I didn't anticipate asking the two of you, but I ask a lot of people this question, so here you go. You guys both just described a situation that people would say is coincidental. It was a coincidence we were at the skate park together. It was a coincidence that my friends talk. Do you believe in coincidence?
Oh, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah?
I'd say so.
Yeah, I would say it was a coincidence for sure.
Or was it meant to be?
Yeah, that's the.
Oh.
Yeah, this is
Or
the
was
operative
it meant
thing.
to be? Shoot, it might
I
be.
wonder if we didn't meet at the skate park, if we ever would have met.
There's an
That's a
alternate
good question.
timeline where you met in like a Del Taco in
Yeah.
LA or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Or at a concert.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Interesting.
Yeah, we were talking about that kind of stuff yesterday on the
Yeah.
drive. We were like, dude, like, what would happen? Like,
Yeah, where do we be right
where
now?
would we be if we never went to that skate park, or never did this, never did that?
Yeah.
Right. Well, you guys have been in a pretty much in a building and growing since the meeting at the skate park. Then I guess. Do you see Best Life as solely Plan A, or is there like a Best Life Plan B?
As of now, it's definitely just best life or bust. So
yeah,
that's pretty much the plan right now. But if it's not, I guess I'll go to college. No, I'm kidding.
No, I didn't know. I mean, like if you're gonna start taking pictures for Bass Pro Shop or something instead.
I mean, shoot, Bass Pro Shop. Let me know. I'll take pictures for you. But yeah, I think if Best Life, like let's say, oh man, we're tired of all this stuff. That's why it's Best Life, because it's so broad. It could be whatever. It doesn't have to be just concerts. I wish it could be like just a little bit of everything, like a little bit of Nat Geo, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of Cool Channel, a little bit of who knows, you know?
Yeah, like on the 9th, we're shooting a Red Bull event. You know Flugtag?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We got in contact with Red Bull, and they're having us come out and shoot that.
Where's that going to be at?
It's in Tampa.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, no way.
Yeah, on the 9th.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm
I might have to
super
try
excited.
to get my. I love that. I think that's wild. I love all the Red Bull
yeah,
stuff.
you
So-
should check it out.
Yeah,
Red Bull got their own record label too.
Rebel Records.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True.
Shout out House of Protection. They're
House
on
of
Red Bull
Protection,
Records.
really?
Yeah, you might want to see if you can get involved with shooting some of their artists since you're already going to be there.
Yeah, we'll try to work our magic at the event.
Yeah. You got
networking.
nice complimentary style for it. Your pictures are renegade.
Yeah.
So what's the next step from here?
Next step from here.
You want to add more people or add more business?
Probably
A little bit of both.
a little bit of both. Yeah, we have Rylan and we have Grayson and we have Jace, but Jace is in Colorado right now. And
In the military.
Yeah,
Because you're about as busy as two guys can be. Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've been planning and like thinking and discussing, just all of us, and we're just kind of sitting on what we got right now, and then maybe at the end of the year we'll like think about it, see what we've done, and all this kind of stuff. And
Do you
Yeah.
ever take like those like I hate to say it, but like those rigidity moments where you have to think to yourself, yo, we're running a business here despite how much fun we're having. Maybe we got to think what we're going to do in 12 months, 18 months, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Or is the spontaneity just so much the fuel, just let it ride?
I feel like I let it ride a lot, but
We have been getting
sometimes-
like more into like planning.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes at night I'll just be
At
awake.
night.
I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna be doing in a year? Like, what?
Yeah.
Where will I be 6 months from now? Even like, I don't even know. And I'm just like, oh, it's crazy. But
Some of that's the beauty, though.
yeah, for sure. I really like the surprise, the shock element.
Yeah.
But
I'd say like one of the next steps is just more planning and more
for sure,
networking, just like finding more stuff to shoot like outside of like the music scene, or even more stuff in the music scene.
yeah, whatever, vlogs,
Yeah.
just behind the scenes, whatever.
Yeah, more vlogs. I want to do more vlogs.
Yeah,
Those are a lot
that's
of
an
fun.
interesting thing. Talk to me a little bit about that. I'm kind of curious, just as an aside, you know, vlogs and blogs and all the nature, those things were really big 15 years ago, whatever. Now it seems like all that stuff is kind of making some kind of resurgence. Talk to me about, like, do you do that kind of content, like vlog content when you're on tour with these bands, or is it always just the shows?
Sometimes, like, we have vlogs that we just haven't edited because it's
Yeah.
a lot of work. Well, not even. It's just time consuming.
Right.
And also like
We got the set videos, and then by the time we get around to having the vlog get ready to be made, we got another set to shoot. So it's like, oh,
Yeah, I suppose
Yeah.
at that point you could almost be doing like a
outsourcing.
Best Life
Yeah.
reality TV show almost. You're doing your own BTS of everything you do.
yeah.
You know, like how they did Warp
be onto
Tour
something. Yeah,
that
that'd
one
be
year
cool.
when they took all the people and they filmed the reality show for Warp Tour.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
ever saw that, but it was like, you know, just the behind the scenes of traveling with the bands and
Yeah,
the way
that's
life
crazy.
I
rolls.
definitely want to start doing that more. One of our friends' bands from Orlando, Memory Well. I went to a show. I went by myself with them because you were
Fort Lottie.
yeah, Fort Lauderdale or like somewhere in Broward.
Yeah.
I filmed a vlog that day, just like traveling with them, going down to Fort Lauderdale, wherever, and just like all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And like that was like the first vlog I ever did, and I had so much fun filming it, editing it, like the whole process. Like I loved it, and I definitely like want to start doing that more.
Yeah, people love watching that stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's a voyeur thing,
was,
maybe.
Someone was all like, "Oh, dude, I love that video. Like the editing was so awesome." Brandon, what do you do? And then I was like, "Dude, he edited it." That was me.
I did nothing. Worked out perfect.
Yeah, I want to do a vlog for the for Flugtag, the Red Bull thing.
I think that's one of the things we're gonna be doing for that. And then it's kind of funny. We're gonna be like kind of on tour. Because 9 Million is a band that's coming through Florida, like around the same time. So on the 8th, we got to be in Jacksonville with them. And then the 9th, we got to be in Tampa for Flugtag while they play in Miami. And then the 10th, we'll stay in Tampa, and then they'll be playing in Tampa. And then the 11th, we'll go to Tallahassee with them, and then back to Orlando. So
and then maybe on the 13th, you'll sleep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Forget about sleeping in there.
Yeah, we could do a vlog with 9 mil, like a separate one for Red Bull, and then one with 9 mil. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I love watching that kind of stuff because I like nerding out how people like you do what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always grateful to have these conversations because I'm curious about what makes the wheel go around. So I want to shift gears just a little bit as we get closer to the end here. And Brandon, I want to talk to you about some of your travels. I know the last time we talked, you had just gotten back from Africa, and that was awesome. I liked those pictures a lot. Talk to me a little bit about some of the places you've been since then, because I know you've been all over the map. Maybe where you've been and maybe some of the places you guys have been together.
Yeah, so since then, we've been to like a bunch of the southeastern states.
Yeah.
And then California and Arizona. Cali was in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Arizona's like the farthest out we went together.
Together for Best Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really awesome. We went to Tough Love Festival, and so we got to shoot like so many like awesome people. Like we saw Jesus Piece, we saw 3-6 Mafia, we saw Lil Tracy,
City Morgue,
Joey, Trauma Ray, Glare, like all these incredible bands.
And did you go there as press to do that, or did you just show up?
Yeah, we did that as press. So we got in contact somehow, and we got media passes, and there we go. We shot it. It was awesome.
Yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, and then we got some of the Southeast. We did Fiends. We got some in Narrowhead. We got Fleshwater,
Modern Color,
a lot of great bands.
Yeah.
And then I went to Spain and
Lucky
Portugal with my mom, and that was really awesome. I'm half Colombian, so like I speak Spanish, so it was kind of cool just being able to see how Spanish people do, because it's like very different. They say vos, vas, vais, you know. Like,
yeah.
And I wasn't used to that, and like some words are different, and some things are like, it's just cool. I love
in the King Spanish or whatever they call it.
Yeah, I really like to see different cultures and like different places, and like old places especially are really cool to me. I'm like, wow, this has been here since like 1400s. What?
Yeah, I know. We live in a country that's barely over 200.
And I'm like, wow, 1800. Wow.
Yeah, right.
But then I go there, I'm like losing my mind. I'm like, what? This was like 1200. I'm like, what?
So you take your camera when you go, yeah?
Yeah. This time I only shot on like a little red digital camera. I took my camera with me, but it never left my bag because I didn't want to like
mix business and leather.
Kind of, in a way, but I also only had my fisheye on me, so I didn't know how I could shoot like a city with the fisheye, because I would want to zoom, but
with no subject in the photo.
You live and you learn, right? You gotta take more than a fisheye with you when you're on tour.
For you photographers coming up, when you're gonna start your business, take more than a fisheye.
Yeah, make sure you have at least 2 lenses.
So how did those travels inspire you when you're taking other pictures, when you see these old things? How does this shape your view of the aesthetics of things?
I like symmetry, and I also like the like the rules kind of photography, like the rules of 3 and then like leading lines and all this kind of stuff. So it's like if I can look at something and then picture like, okay, this would look really cool cropped and like, my bad, but this would look cool cropped and maybe askew or something because it would just make the lines pop or whatever. It kind of just gives me like a different sense of view on like the pictures I could be taking. Or if I go to a museum and I look at like a painting, I'm like, wow, that's a cool like like structure of it, like the way that they have it all just in this frame,
right?
And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's inspiration all around. That's why I was curious about that. Do either of you, I think I know the answer to this, but do either of you have any formal training in this at all? Or is all of these things, like you're talking about the rules of 3s and some of these things, all ideas that you've gleaned on your own? You did your own research, you YouTube University, found out from a friend, anything like that?
Self-taught experience, YouTube University.
YouTube
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a graduate, but close.
Yeah. I gained a lot of knowledge from the soccer tournament job.
Yeah.
It's like cameras and shooting.
I think just being around people that shoot also, or like, it just helps because you could be like, hey man, do you know what's wrong with this? Or like how I could do something differently that maybe I haven't thought of before.
Yeah, we share ideas and techniques and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So you do find, I guess, let me ask you this. Do you think it's been more beneficial to you, the things that you've learned from people or the things that you've been able to just scrape from the internet?
I want to say it kind of comes in as a mix. Because I'll learn something from somebody and then watch a video of something else and then kind of use the two and just boom.
Make your own answer.
Mm-hmm.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah. I'd say I get like more like formal training from YouTube University, like like the like tech behind cameras and like
that's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh Lord.
Like how does a camera see things?
Yeah, like that kind of stuff and like editing.
Crazy.
But
well, this is also a question that I like to ask a lot of people that are in creative fields, and this we're right on the tip of this one, so I'm going to ask. How do you balance your ideas that you have, taking the fisheye, all this natural creativity or your innate ideas, I should say, and then balance them against the things you learn or the trial and errors you come across? Do you find that the things you learn curb your natural ideas, or your natural ideas just get enhanced when you learn these things?
I'd say it gets enhanced.
Yeah, I would say it enhances it because it's no secret that what I do, I'll do like a slow, long exposure shot, and then it'll make the lights all cool. And sure, people are giving that info away on YouTube, and I may have seen that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, until you apply it and until you do it yourself and see the way that it works, you're not gonna get the result that you want, maybe, like
the result you want, maybe. I love that.
So it's really just like you live and you learn. Like you take a picture and then from there you just like adjust it a little bit and then see what it does and then boom.
Do you feel that both of you live in a world where however you do it, there is no wrong answer?
Sometimes. But
yeah, I'd say so.
There could be a wrong answer, like blurry picture.
Yeah. I mean, short of not press and record.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll get you out of here on something fun. And I think this is what I asked you last time, but now we can get a little bit more a collective answer. What is your dream gig now that you're focused more on doing bands and you've had a little bit more experience now? If you guys could now sculpt, and let's just say, what's your dream gig in the next year? Because I know when we talk in the next year, it's going to be a whole nother step up from there. So if you could do anything in the next year with Best Life, what would you guys want to do?
I want to say either Warped Tour Orlando or
The Resurgence of Warped Tour.
yeah, that's true, or a Euro Tour. One of those two, those are dream gigs for sure for next year. Like goals, I would say.
2025 going to see you at Warped Tour and going to see you overseas.
I hope so.
What are you thinking?
For me, I'd say like either Euro tour or at least like a US tour. Like I want to like go all around like a
Like
country.
proper be out for months.
Yeah, be out for like a whole month, just shooting,
Would be
going
crazy.
around.
Any people we should think about? Like any bands, any artists that we would
Deftones.
Deftones?
I want to shoot them so bad.
Yeah, we'll say
That'd
the
be cool.
Deftones Fleshwater, like their new run that they're doing.
Yeah, they're got an Orlando stop, yeah?
They do.
Yeah, I want to go so bad.
Well, it's going to start DMing everybody up and down that ladder.
A lot of DM Chino.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Everybody, man. Ain't nobody safe from the DMing.
Literally.
Awesome. Well, man, I think that would be great. I can't wait to see what 2025 holds. And now that we had Brandon Thrift here. We interviewed him exactly a year to the day from our first interview, totally unknowingly. And we got to be somewhere close too.
Yeah.
So I think we're unknowingly setting up a tradition, I should say, right now, where we're going to get Brandon Thrift and then Brandon Kruk every year. We're going to have to check in with the two of you once a year. We're going to have our annual Brandon check-ins.
That'll be awesome.
So,
Absolutely. I love
hell
that.
yeah. Well,
And
Brandon,
maybe one day it'll be Brandon James.
Yeah.
Sitting here for
Shit, we'll get everybody in
after
here.
a tour. We'll get Brandon
Yeah,
and James from Fiends and Brandon and James
Yeah.
from BLP.
There you go. We'll do a live.
Post tour.
Let's do it. We'll do
Next
a live.
tour.
Yeah,
I'm watching
Yes.
you, Brandon.
yeah. Everybody knows. On blast.
And one day with Rylan and Grayson too.
Oh yeah. Maybe
Like,
next year.
Get more.
That's who will be
more of the
sitting in these
BLP
chairs.
team in here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's onward and
cool.
upward on all fronts, gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Well, Brandon, James, I can't thank you guys enough for coming down. I'm always grateful to hear from you. I'm so glad you were on the camera this time.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what next year holds, gentlemen. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you for having us.
Oh, anytime, man.
Awesome.
It's truly an honor.
Hell yeah.